What's going on, everybody? So, today I'm going to be making a Tekken 8 tier list. Now, this video I know is going to get I hope gets a bunch of engagement because people are going to be opinionated about their character and, oh, my character is not as good as you're saying, and, oh, nobody is going to say, oh, my character is better than what you're saying. Everyone's going to be downplaying. So I'm not going to get comments saying the opposite. Anyway, let's do this damn thing, shall we? Alright, so we have... Should we do it in the order it's given? The order is pretty random, right? Why is Jack first? Okay, fuck that. I'm doing it in the order I want to do it. And I'm gonna start with who I think of straight away when I think of this tier list. So where is he? There he is. Brian. Nope, he's not staying in D tier for long. You are going to be potentially number one. It's a toss-up between these three characters. Where's the other one? It's a toss-up between these three for me. I know people don't like any of these characters, and I don't blame them. All three of these characters need to be toned down, and I think everyone's just kind of waiting for a nerf when it comes to these three characters in particular. I don't know if I want to put these three in a tier of their own, but let me try order it. I'm gonna actually put... I might put Lydia above Anna. Yeah. Brian is gonna stay as number one. Anna, I'm gonna leave at 3. And then behind Anna is her sister. But I think it's undisputable that Nina is worse than Anna. But like, it's so marginal that I wouldn't say you're crazy if you thought it was like something like this. But I think Anna just has a lot of DLC privilege, as well as a lot of like base kit tools such as the pokes that Nina has. I'm gonna take these off. I don't know if that was a funny skit or not, but you'll have to let me know in the comments. Alright, so after this, I think it's gonna get a lot more subjective. I think most people can agree that these 4 characters are pretty crazy. Right, so... You see, I don't want to look like a down player. I'm looking at Asuka right now, and I know I need to place her pretty soon or I'm gonna look biased. But I think there is at least a tier between Asuka and Lydia. Like at least one tier between those two characters. I don't know how you can say that Lydia, where she locks you down in pressure and you're kind of forced to guess, is the same as Asuka. Asuka just does not have that type of offense. Like, her offense isn't bad, but it's not nearly as good as Lydia or Brian or the Nina sisters. I mean, the Williams sisters. And I think offense is the name of the game in Tekken 8. I think Xiaoyu and Asuka are on the same tier because their defensive tools is what separates them from the rest of the cast, but defense isn't like the name of the game. Lily with her sidestep, another defensive tool where she doesn't have like overwhelming pressure. Oh my god, people are gonna hate me for this, but I have to do it. Characters that are defense based, I'm not putting in the same tier as characters like Horang or maybe oh, I'm actually gonna put Lee up here as well. I know people are gonna hate me and think I'm a huge scrub, but that's okay. I think Reina actually has potential to be an S tier, but she's really difficult. I'm gonna move Asuka up just so that it doesn't look too ridiculous, because I know Asuka does have good tools. I'm gonna put John actually above Asuka though. I think she has. They both have a similar moveset, right? Kazama style, but John's like power up thing is just really oppressive. Well, maybe actually I'm gonna change my mind on the spot because to counterplay that, in theory, you could just do like a crazy amount of damage in like one or two goes so that she doesn't get a lot of time to build up her meter. And that's what all the best characters can do. So I think that everyone below her, she probably beats very handily, but everyone above her, she will lose to just because she can't get her like gimmick off. Okay. Heihachi probably going into A. The reason for that is partially because of the warrior instinct. I think if he didn't have that, he would be on the same level as Kazuya. And Kazuya, I'm actually gonna put maybe... maybe high B tier. Just because he can dish out a ton of damage, but the problem with his offense is that there's not a lot of like safe counter hits, for example. Whereas Brian can kind of throw out moves, and if they counter hit you, you're fucked. Whereas with Kazuya, the moves that he's throwing out, except for like Electric Wind Godfist, are not as good generally. So I'm gonna leave Kazuya here for now. Like, it's too one-dimensional. Brian has so many more options. Lydia also has a lot of options, but like the reason she's here is because she kind of forces you into casino Tekken where you're kind of taking a guess, and that's something I hope everyone is against. Even if you think this list is bad and I'm an idiot, you should not want fucking guessing game characters to be the characters that are good. And unfortunately, there are guessing game characters in this game, and it's by design. and it's not something we can get rid of. And those two characters that I'm referring to, where you're kind of taking a guess, is King and Armor King. And that's because of homing throws, where when they're in heat, you're kind of forced to guess. I'm not going to put them there. I'm actually going to put them... I'm going to put Armor King above King. But it's the same type of play style where you're kind of forced to, like, is it going to be a 1 break or a 2 break or 1+2 break? And if you guess wrong, it's a lot of damage. But it's not as much damage as someone like Brian, where with Brian, the mistake you can make and get blown up for is literally just pressing at the wrong time. And then you get counter hit by something that, like, you can't react to while he's like, dude, could you have reacted to that? Could you? I don't think you could have, alright? If you didn't react to that, then according to Brian's gameplay, you deserve to lose more than half your health. Okay? So unless you paused the video and knew I was going to do that within that time, you would have lost half your health, and that would have been fair. Okay? Alright. So yeah, Brian is just bullshit. Whereas with these two characters, at least it's not as much damage when you guess wrong. Brian and Lydia are kind of fucking bullshit. I don't like the guessing game character design at all. I think it's unhealthy for a fighting game. However, Tekken has decided to have homing throws, and until that's removed, everyone on this list, I think, needs to be nerfed in some way or another, so that the counterplay is more like smart. I don't know. Guessing for my life doesn't feel like I'm being smart, even if I guess right. It's the offense is quite brain dead in Tekken 8 Season 2, and it's because of stupid decisions by Namco, by making characters do safe counter hit launchers that like blow you up, and that's just fucking stupid. And also there's not a lot of risk to it. With Hell Sweep, for example, there is, like, it's not reactable, but you can't take half of someone's health bar for not reacting to a Hell Sweep, right? Or not blocking a Hell Sweep. So, also, it's another thing with Kazuya is that before he Hell Sweeps, he has to, like, dash in first, like the Waivu. So when you're seeing that he's going forward, you know in the back of your head that there's a possibility he could Hell Sweep, or he could Electric, and if you crouch block, both of those options are beaten because the Electric goes above your head, and the Hell Sweep you can block by crouching. So you can option select a character like that. Whereas a character like Brian, I can't think of a single option select you have. The only counterplay to Brian that I know is that you can react to his Snake Edge, but he has so many more options than just spamming Snake Edge. You don't need to... You can get a high rank without ever using Snake Edge. Like, that's not a tool that good Brian players use. The only reason they would use it is if the reason a Brian who's good would use Snake Edge is it's been a fucking year since he's used the Snake Edge on anyone. So to win Evo Grand Finals, he's like, alright, I'm gonna do this move that nobody knows I'm gonna do because, like, I've never used it. That's outside of that, like, you're never using Snake Edge because it's reactable. And even in that situation where it's Evo Grand Finals and you're using this move you never use, that can still backfire on you if the person reacts anyway because they're godlike, because they got to Evo Grand Finals. Alright, anyway, let's move on. Fakaram, I think he is gonna go in B tier. Maybe top of B tier because I think he's... Oops. I think he might be a bit better than Kazuya. By the way, Xiaoyu is probably better than Kazuya as well. And Lily, probably better. No, actually no. Because so many moves track so well that her main tool to use defensively doesn't work. Whereas with Xiaoyu, her Phoenix stance does work well. The only thing with Xiaoyu is that her defense is a bit one-dimensional. Yeah, I'm gonna leave these characters where they are for now. I don't know who to go for next. Yoshimitsu, I'm going to put somewhere in A tier. I think he is like a better version of Jun, and that's gonna sound crazy, but the reason for that is because Yoshimitsu gets so much health back from like his interactions, where against characters that blow you up in 2 interactions anyway, you're not gonna do well against a character like Brian, for example. But you're not on a time limit either, where Jun, she's kind of on a time limit to get her like her 100, you know, that thing she has. And Yoshimitsu isn't under that sort of pressure. He always has that threat of getting loads of health back and doing crazy damage to you. Also, that fucking completely BS move where it's a low unblockable, that needs to be completely changed. That's bullshit. For that, actually, he's going in S, because that move is actually completely bullshit. Yeah, fuck that move. That needs to be toned down completely. I don't know why you can't block that. It's like a Snake Edge you can't block. It's dumb as fuck. I don't know why that's in the game. Anyway. Jack 8. We're doing Jack 8 next, maybe? I think Jack 8 is gonna go... Probably... I think he's like similar to Fakuram. Maybe just not as good though. Yeah, we're gonna put Jack 8 there. I don't think he brings too much to the table. He doesn't have too much going for him, it seems. Alright. Jin. Jin is a bit tricky because To be honest, when I lose to Jin, I feel like it is just a skill issue. And I feel like there is reasonable counterplay to Jin. So you see, the thing is, he's good, but there is ways to counterplay him. I think he's literally the exact same kind of level as Asuka. Maybe slightly worse. I think he belongs right next to Asuka. These two characters are just really tricky to rank because technically, I think in an offline environment you can react to the throws, but like nobody plays offline. Most of Tekken is played online, so you just can't react to like which arm he's leaning in with first, as he's throwing you, and then break in time. That's just, it's asking too much of the player online, and therefore I'm keeping them in A. But in theory, they could go lower, like in an offline setting. But they're skill issue characters similar to Jin, but they're skill issue in a much more guessy kind of fucking bullshit way. Whereas with Jin, I feel like I can react to most things that I can react to most of Jin's offense, and the stuff that he can do that's not reactable is not like blowing you up. Like Scourge used to be in Brian tier, where he would have moves that would blow you up, and you couldn't react to them. But nowadays, he's been toned down. He's been toned down in the way that Brian needs to be toned down. But I think I don't know, because I'm looking at these two characters as well, and I'm thinking, how can you tone them down without killing the character? It's tricky. Because whenever I break a king or armor king throw, I just mash the 1 and 2. I don't try to react to which arm he's leaning in with. Because yeah, that's just not really reasonable. Not online anyway. That's tough as fuck. Okay. Right. Sorry I'm taking so long to go over the next characters. It's just the fact that I'm thinking over everyone. Like, have I really placed everybody fairly? Well, fuck it. Homing throws are still in the game. So until they're not in the game, these characters need a nerf. So I'm actually gonna put both these motherfuckers at the top of A, because I am an online player and they can fuck off. Alright. Lars and Law. Alright, we'll start with Lars. Gonna put Lars probably here. He's another cancer guessing game character. Lars is not fun to fight at all. I don't know where I placed him in my fun tier list, but I almost want to just get my phone and check where I placed him, but Lars is just a piece of shit character, and so is Law. But I think Law is better. In fact, I think Law is actually probably somewhere here. Yeah. Law is fucking bullshit. Okay, Paul. Paul is like a better version of Kazuya, so I'm just gonna put Paul in above Heihachi, because Heihachi is also a better version of Kazuya, but he's relying on a gimmick, whereas Paul is bullshit right out of the gate. Leroy. Probably somewhere here. No, he's better than Kazuya for sure. Yeah, I think that's a perfect placement. Slightly worse than Fakuram. Oh, here we go. I forgot. I can't believe I'm only ranking this character now. Claudio is so cancer. Yeah. The reason Claudio has to go there is because, oh no, actually I think I'm gonna put him above Harang. He has to go there because the reason he's strong is kind of similar to Brian, whereas he has plus frames on moves that if they counter hit you, you blow up, but you don't blow up as hard as Brian. As Brian blows you up, so he's like a lesser offender of the same kind of crime. He stole from the shop, but he stole less from the shop, right? Okay. Azucena is probably gonna go. Maybe actually worse than Kazuya. Yeah, I'm gonna put Azucena there. She used to be way better, but she got so nerfed that I'd be dishonest to put her higher just because like she can be annoying at times. Alright, Raven. By the way, the reason the explanations for characters being as high or as low as they are, not being like good my god, I can't speak. Explanations is just because I'm not like an expert at the game. Like I couldn't tell you the input for the move that he does, like the really quick punch and it like blows you up. This tier list is more like how characters feel to go up against. And just so everyone knows, I am at Bushin, so if some placements are crazy, you can contribute me being a Bushin to that, but I don't know. I think everybody thinks their own list is really good, but I think my list is pretty good. The one character I see as like really not conforming to what other people's opinion is on the character is Asuka. But the reason that I don't think she's as good as a lot of other people think she is because the pressure that people are talking about when they say it's Asuka has like really good offensive pressure. Which moves are you talking about? Because like outside of Heat, I don't know what you're talking about. And outside of that that gimmick she has, like the green spiral. Outside of that, I don't know like what is she doing that's so like hard for people to deal with? Because with Lydia, I can just look at the character and the way she's playing and be like, well, that looks fucking brutal. And I don't see Asuka putting on that type of pressure at all. And you see, the reason I picked her is because I thought the defensive tools would be really good. And to a point, they are, but there's a lot of characters that can kind of just nullivate your defensive options because they're using elbow or knee strikes. Take Claudio, take Fakaram. They have a bunch of knee strikes where you don't have a move to counter that. And also those knee strikes, they don't. It's not like low damage either. You can just kind of fuck up Asuka by using moves that her defensive tools don't work on. Against, I mean. So I think there's more counterplay to Asuka than people like say, and I think the reason that people don't state that fact is because she does do quite a bit of damage herself, but her offense to me is just not. It's not as oppressive as Brian or Lydia at all. It's really not, but I think to be subjective, she is better than fucking the Kings. And I think Jin is also better than those two as well. It's just their fucking bullshit to fight against. Alright, Raven. That's the reason I rated them high, but I'm trying to not rate them on how annoying they are to fight against. I'm trying to rate them fairly, so I'm gonna have to put them there. As much as I would love to see them get nerfed into the ground. Alright, Raven. Probably. Honestly, probably like somewhere around here. Maybe slightly worse than Jin. Oh, Dragunov. Dragunov is pretty good, but I don't think he's as good as he was, so probably like behind Jin as well. Yeah. Somewhere there, maybe. Yeah. That seems good. Okay. Kuma. Characters like Kuma and Panda and even Jackie are hard to rate because they're just so unlike other characters. But I think they're probably better than the Kings. I don't know, because like they are gimmicky, but they're not built around like something you can react to either. So I think in theory they're worse than the Kings. Yeah, I'm gonna have to leave them there for now. Alright, Leo. Leo is really good. I think Leo is probably somewhere in this kind of category. Honestly, maybe S. I'm actually gonna put Leo at the lowest of S for now, because there might be a character or two left that might go in S. Shaheen. I think Shaheen is probably about a bit better than Lars. Yeah. Steve. Steve is pretty tricky because he does have a lot of the bad game design that like characters like Anna have or Lydia have. But he's a bit simple because the reason I might be underrating him is because Asuka has a Sabaki, like a punch parry. So characters with punch parries have an easier time against Steve than other characters. So I think for that reason, he's kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing. He needs to go in A on a technicality, but he should be S. So, yeah. We're actually going to make a tier just for Steve. Okay. Because it doesn't feel right putting him in the same tier as like Heihachi, or even Asuka. I think he's a lot better than Asuka. Right, Feng Wei. This is difficult. Here's what I need to do to be better at making videos. I need to be out loud saying the thought process. Right. Okay, so the reason it's way too late in the video to be figuring that out. But anyway, the reason you see, I'm undecided. I'm undecided if he should go A or S. He's not going B. That's for certain. By the way, I think I'm sleeping on Lily quite a bit. Lily could probably go... it's hard to know, better than Shayu or not. You see, there is more to the character than just her sidestep. But there's also more to Xiaoyu than just her the low phoenix dance thing. So okay, decision made. I think Lily has won a tournament, whereas I don't think any of these characters have won a tournament. So she arguably should be in B. I mean in A. And these two characters should probably come down as well, but Kuma definitely has a tournament. Alright, I think I'm happy with that. Because if we're using the tournament argument, Kuma... You see, I think he's been nerfed since he won his tournament, so... I don't know. Fuck. Also, the level of play changes as well. It's been quite a while since Lily has won a tournament. Okay. I think maybe that is a bit more reasonable than how I had it. Okay. Alright, let's move on. We need to do Feng Wei still. Feng Wei is just really, really tricky to rank. I think he's worse than Asuka. But is he worse than Jin? Probably, actually, yeah. I think he fits in perfectly right there. Alright, we have Alyssa, which is kind of just a skill issue gimmick character. But also the chainsaw plus frame thing is bullshit, so I don't know. I don't want to put her in S because I feel like she is a skill issue character, but I feel like she's a skill issue character the way that Paul and Kazuya are skill issue characters. So I'm actually going to put her right there. Yeah, I think that's pretty perfect. Devil Jin. You see, he does have some good stuff, but it's not as good as characters that are up here, right? I think he kind of belongs around here. Yeah, I think maybe he's either slightly better or slightly worse than Kazuya. Shit, this is tough. I think he's slightly better than Kazuya. I'm gonna final answer on that one. Alright, Safina is gonna go... probably like right here. Like around... yeah, probably right there. She's just not played enough for me to even consider S tier, but she's not top of a material either, I don't think. Victor. Victor is... he's another really like kinda cancer character to go against, but I think he's he's not as good as Asuka, not as good as maybe not as good as Jin. Right. Better or worse than Jin? Okay, I'm concluding he's worse than Jin. Better or worse than Feng Wei? No, worse than Feng Wei as well, actually. Dragunov. Slightly better than Dragunov. And a bit worse than Fang. Okay, Eddie. I think I would need to have the game up in front of me to really like showcase what about each character is the reason I'm going for it. The reason I'm placing them where they are. Eddie. Whew. Eddie is actually really good, so he's actually going an S somewhere. He's going above Yoshimitsu, but below Law. Alright. Next is Clive, last but not least. Right. I think Clive was slightly overhyped, but the overhyping was saying that he was the best in the game. So probably going in do you know what? I think his mechanic where you have to get to 5 stacks is similar to Jones' mechanic, but worse. So I'm actually going to put Clive Clive is the one character that I think is weaker than John, yet stronger than Asuka. So, he's going here. The only character to separate those characters. Even though they have such similar movesets. Alright. I hope this list is good. I'm gonna have to compare it to what other players think. Let me pull up Arslan Ash's tier list so I can compare the two. Who's the best player in the world right now? Is it Arslan Ash? I know that's gonna be a debated topic, but oops, took that off the screen. Let me get it back now. Actually, once it's back, it will be back with the Arslan Ash tier list on screen. Why is it giving fucking Tekken 7 tier list? That's a season 1 tier list. Sorry about this. I'll cut this part of the video probably. I couldn't be more specific. I'm typing in Tekken 8 Season 2 tier list and it's still giving me a Tekken 7 crap, so I don't know why. Alright, this is the only thing I can find. Sorry about this. Alright, so let me pull up my tier list side by side. Let me see how that looks in OBS. Oh, that looks terrible. Right, how do I make it so that I can get two on the same thing? Okay, then I'll add another window capture. Oh fuck, whoops, that's not gonna work. What I need to do is make this bigger. Okay. Right, so what would be the big differences between my tier list and the best player in the world's tier list? So first thing we can see immediately is that I have a lot more in S tier. Where did he put Lydia? What the fuck? Oh my god, he put Lydia that low? What the fuck? He doesn't order his tier list though, that's the huge issue. Alright, well if the tier list isn't even ordered, then I don't know what to go off. So maybe we'll get Knee's tier list. Do 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 do. Ah, fuck it. Nothing's coming up. I'm just gonna pull up a random person. I'm gonna skip to the end so that I can see. Alright, now I just need to make that look proper in OBS. Alright. Okay, so he has Asuka in top 5. I think that's just a bias against Asuka. Especially to have June so low behind Asuka when their movesets are almost identical. I think that's kind of cope. Alright, Yes, Anna and Nina both above Brian. Don't know if I agree with that. I don't know why Alyssa is fucking top 5. I don't think she's ever won a tournament. By the way, Asuka, I think she has maybe one tournament under her belt, but that's it. Claudio, at least we agree on that. Jin is a lot higher than I thought you'd be. Horang, I can agree with that. Yoshimitsu, yep. Clive, he's a little bit overrated on that tier list compared to mine. I have Kuma and Panda much lower than he does. The thing is, I think Kuma and Panda need a nerf the way Armor King and King need a nerf. By the way, the reason Armor King isn't on that list is just because he didn't come out yet at the time that list was made, but not enough changes between like that season and this season happened to where there'd be like significant movement on the tier list. I think Asuka may have gotten a nerf, but I forgot. Seems like Asuka gets nerfed every patch nowadays. I'm just kind of used to it, like what's it going to be this time? And like, I don't even mind her getting nerfed. I just wish they would nerf other characters as well if they're going to nerf Asuka so hard when she's not like the worst defender in the game at all. In terms of like BS broken. Lydia and Brian are fucking BS broken. Hannah and Nina are also BS broken. Claudio too. All my S tiers are BS broken except Reina. Reina is only there because she has a bunch of moves that allows a really skilled player to take her very far. But she's not like an unhealthy top tier. Brian is an unhealthy top tier. A lot of our placements are very similar. I'm trying to look for what would be the most different. What's the most different? Maybe just Asuka. Oh, Victor. He has Victor quite a bit higher than I do. There is not much difference here. All right, well, hope you enjoyed the list, guys. The biggest difference actually is just Kuma and Panda on my list being like a lot lower than his list. But that kind of makes me second guess my own list a little bit. Maybe those two characters are kind of more bullshit than I gave them credit for. You see, a lot of pandas and kumas that I run into just spam gimmicks, like super gimmicks, to where the counterplay is kind of obvious. But I know like the better kuma and panda players don't do that, and they're outside my ranks. So after seeing that list, I am gonna change mine slightly. I'm gonna move kuma and panda up a little bit. How much though is the question? How about there? Alright. This video has gone on long enough, and a lot of it has been dead air because I don't articulate my thoughts very well. A bit of a scrubby YouTuber. Oh, what the hell? Where's the camera? Oh shit, I've covered my camera for a while and I didn't even notice. There's my beautiful face again. Alright, anyway guys, I'm gonna move that there. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good one. I need to get better at doing these. Let me know in the... Be highly critical of not the tier... If you want to criticize the tier list, do it, but I want you to say how I could make this type of video more interesting, because I feel like an hour and almost 10 minutes have gone by and I haven't done like a great job in terms of explaining my thoughts on each character. And the reason for that is because I don't have a lot of what's the word? Fucking quotation knowledge. Like, I don't know the quotation for a lot of the moves that I know are broken and I think of when I think of like bullshit characters. Like, for example, Lydia has a move where when you're like stunned on the ground like this, she can slam down on you with her hand, and it's a huge amount of damage, and it doesn't make sense considering how much damage the combo has already done. So yeah. And then Brian has a move that's so fast that when I did it in the video, nobody reacted to it. So yeah, I'm gonna close out the video, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day or night or wherever. Peace.